Hey guys, welcome. As promised, here is the follow-up to the self-defense classes that we did both at the hospital for Mother Francis, Christus Mother Francis, and with our self-defense here at our school. I want to talk about the tools that we use, that we taught you guys how to do. First of all, let's talk about the fighting stance. Remember that defensive stance where you have one leg in front, both hands are up, it doesn't matter which leg, doesn't matter which side. We train both so that you'll be prepared no matter what. Typically, my rule, so to speak, is if my right leg is in front, my right hand is up. See right here? That's a little more of an opening if my right hand is down. I like the lead leg to be the lead hand to block me. So if I change sides to my left side, that hand is up, and then I've got my other hand down to be able to block low, to push away, to strike, to block high. You've got some more options. You know, in an everyday life, we stand just side to side with our feet together, which is natural. We're not always standing like this. However, remember what we talked about. If you're talking like this and you feel like there's a threat or somebody's coming at you, if it's a bad situation, like they're coming on you, yes, jump to it, get ready to go. If it's like if there's a conversation with somebody and they're starting to get kind of creepy on you and you think there might be a problem, you can just talk with your hands like this and just kind of step back and get into place. So notice I've got into my stance already and I didn't make that big a deal out of it. So my hands are up. Always talk with your hands. My hands are up. I'm in my fighting stance. Now, said our best weapon is our brain. So you can think. Our second best weapon was our verbal. Help, leave me alone, back off, call 911. Use your verbal cues, use your command, your voice for verbal cues. Now, all that aside, we've done all of that. Now it's time to fight. Here's the weapons that we used. Remember the palms? One of our best weapons. Okay? And remember, we talked about the waist. It's all from the waist. Striking. So I don't have to rely on my strength. I'm striking hard with my palms, hitting the bad guy in the face with the palms. So to demonstrate the power, I've asked Laura, my student, to come demonstrate the power on the bag with the palm strikes. Now, check this out. As she comes in for the palms, you're gonna see the waist. So you're using that power, okay? Now, our other weapon that we talked about, hammers, right? Striking down, using those hammers, hitting this part of the hand. Again, you'll see the power coming in. Yeah, a lot of power. She's a small frame woman, but you have a lot of power with those hammers. Okay, so we talked about palms, we talked about hammers. Our other weapon, if you'll remember, is elbows. Our forward elbow, if you remember, we're coming across like this. So what she's gonna do is demonstrate the forward elbow to you. Yeah, see again, it all gets back to the waist turning. Now, what happens if they grab you from behind? Let's talk about the back elbows. Again, power comes from the waist. So she's stepping up here. There we go, doing the power. So we've got the palms, you have the hammers, you have the forward elbows, you have the backwards elbows. Now you guys remember, if we're talking elbows and we're talking knees, which we'll cover in a moment, if we're talking any of those two, they've already gotten in your space. Somehow they've gotten past your perimeter. You step into your fighting stance. You go forward or you go back. One question was, well, when do I go step forward versus when do I step back? That's really a spatial thing. Let's say you're out putting groceries in your car. Your car's right here where this bag is. You turn, well, you've got no place to back up. Okay? You may have, hey, back off, leave me alone. You may have to go forward. Another scenario would be you have an outlet behind you, you have space, you turn, person's in your space, suddenly in your, hey, back off. You can take a step back, create some distance between you and the bad guy. Now versus why in a car step forward? Because you don't want to get slammed into a car. You don't want to get pinned. So by moving forward, now you've given yourself some space and hopefully you can escape to either way. It's all about space. I tell my students all the time, if you want to think, believe it or not, like James Bond, You want to be able to assess the situation, assess the area around you. Can I go this way? Can I go that way? You know, what can I do? What would happen if? There's always the if questions. And if you have to remember, your body can't go where your mind has never been. So if you don't think about scenarios and you suddenly have to react, you're going to be slow. Your mind has already had to go there. Your mind has already had to tell you, okay, if this happened, I would go here. If this happened, I would go here. Of course, we don't live paranoid. We just live prepared, all right? Now, again, let's review. Fighting stance, palms, hammers, back elbows, forward elbows. Now, let's talk about the knees, and then we're going to talk about the block. So the knee, remember, again, like the elbows, they're already in your space. I have our pad here that I'm going to demonstrate the power of the knees. Notice, Laura's going to be grabbing onto me because we talked about the shoulder. Yeah, see, that's a lot of power. That's more than you think, and that's very hard on the male anatomy. All right, so you're striking hard, driving that knee in, hurting them, or the stomach, or if you get their head down, the knee. Remember, it's not being mean. We're adults. If you're in a fight, something's gone terribly wrong, and all rules of being nice are gone. You're gonna get them. That's the knees. Now let's talk about, remember, we made the little joke about the wax on, wax off, right? That's real. Those are outside blocks. You can either block them, keep them from grabbing you, or if they do grab you, knocking away. For example, if I'm able to get in her space, she's done the fighting stance, done all she can do, but I'm quick, and I grab the shoulder. There's the block. Look what came out. That palm. It's there. We talked a little bit about kicking, and you can kick with the heel, and we're aiming for knees, really. I really don't like kicks much higher than the waist. Number one, it's very difficult to do unless you're trained to do. It takes flexibility and lots of practice. This takes practice too, but it's a little easier to get a lower target. So again, I'm grabbing here, she knocks it off, hits the palm, boom, there's the kick. It'll come out and get. Now, she struck stomach, a little more trained, but again, you can go for the knee or the leg or the shin. Do whatever you can do to attack and get out of there. Some people ask me all the time, what if I carry my keys between my fingers? And you don't hear much about that anymore, but I tell people, yeah, you use what you can as a weapon. You just have to be prepared to use it. Those of you that carry mace, don't be jogging or walking or whatever, the bad guy comes out and you're like, oh, where's my mace? Let me try to find it. You don't have time for that, okay? You got to wear it around your wrist, have it easily accessible. Somebody comes in, you get your, even with mace, you get your fighting stance, boom, you're ready. So practice that. Just like you practice your palms, practice with that mace. Make sure it's up to date. Pepper spray, bear spray. I prefer all, I don't care. I like them all. Whatever you want to do. If you carry, if you're a licensed handgun carrier, figure out a way to have a belt patch or something that you can carry that weapon, and you practice. You practice pulling that weapon to protect yourself. Again, remember what I said. Body can't go where the mind hasn't been. You've got to practice. You've got to practice. They get on your body. Somehow you don't have your phone. That's where you got to go to the weapons. And we talked about the cell phone situation. If you have your cell phone, make sure your locator's on. Make sure people know where you are so that they can track you if they needed to, okay? You always want your family, spouse, friends, whoever to know your route. If you're a jogger or a walker, you want everybody to know where you are. And look, we're all busy. I know everybody has a busy schedule, and I know sometimes you have to jog at night or go walking at night. Just try your best not to go by yourself. Try to have family, try to have friends, try to have somebody, even a big guard dog. I mean, we can't totally rely on our dogs to protect us, but sometimes they can deter bad guys if it's a big dog. Sorry, little dogs, don't work. All right, now, let's talk about, we covered a few scenarios, being grabbed. If you're tackled to the ground, it's the same thing. You got to fight, you got to scream, you got to do whatever. The ground stuff, I really want you to come train with me on, because it's a little bit more of a dynamic. It takes some of the a little more technical. However, the same palms, the same hammers, the same screams, the claws, the thumbs, all that works. You got to do that. Now let's demonstrate with Laura just one on the back grab. So remember, we talked about, boom, the guy comes up, he's grabbing. Now what'd she do? She dropped her center first. We talked about that. Those elbows came out immediately. What happens if they got you too strong? Then you go to the chop first. I've got it to where she can't get the elbows. Now she's got the strike elbows. Now, look what happened. See? By chopping, it caused me to move. Gave me some, it created her little space to start nailing me with those elbows. When I reacted to that, she was able to get away. Remember the hair pull? And I had everybody say, go with it, okay? Collar, backpack, arm, shirt. I don't care what they grab. If you try to resist, then it's strength versus strength. You may be stronger than them and can pull free, maybe not. They may pull you. If you go with it, you attack with that. Remember we talked about they're pulling your hair, you go with it, you come around and you hit them. Let's demonstrate that, all right? Hair, very scary. I don't pretend to be that to think that it's not. But as you're getting pulled, she hits, oh, see? There's that hammer. She hit me, drove me back, okay? She went with it. Collar, same thing. I pull the collar, same thing. Oh, there it is, okay? Same thing, coming at me with the palm. So she's going with it. Hammer. Really, what we tell you all the time, you have to decide and make the determination in your heart, your soul, and your mind that you are not going to be a victim. And if you end up getting hurt, God forbid we end up being killed, we go out with a fight. Do everything that we can do to protect yourself and your loved ones, okay? All the techniques we showed you here, very practical, very easy. You just kind of have to bring them to the forethought. A lot of people say, oh, this stuff's too what's the word? Too easy. You don't think much about it. Well, yeah, because it's so easy, a lot of times we dismiss it. So we're bringing it to the forefront. Remember, fighting stance, palms, here's your palms, elbows, hammers, back elbows, knee, hair pull, go with it. Blocks, outside blocks, okay? Remember, if I grab shoulder, outside palm, kick, yes. I grab back, drop the center, use those elbows, hit, yeah. That's real, guys, okay? You do those techniques, you do it over and over and over again and get it to where you're being and if you're being attacked, your body will kick into mode, kick into gear. All right? I really am so appreciative of all of you joining us for any of the classes that you may have done. Please check this, watch this video, share it with some loved ones. I hope this will help you recall some of the techniques that we did. It's all about being smart, guys. Just be smart, be alert, and be safe. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon.